Hey everyone, I'm Brian Sparks at Greenhouse Grower. I am joined in the studio again by Dr. Allan Armitage. How are you today, Allan?
Hey, good morning, Brian. I am quite wonderful, quite spectacular, actually. It's a lovely day, and hey, garden's growing. It's very nice.
Oh, I love it. If we could start every day with spectacular, that's the right attitude to take. So I love it. I want to talk about, we're a little less than a month out of Cultivate as we have this conversation now. So I want to talk about that in a second. But before I do that, I want to get your general take, as you're visiting garden centers in your area, having conversations with retailers. What's your take on how spring is performing in your sector of the country right now?
Well, in my sector of the country, that is the southeast, and going up a wee bit north too. Well, all of us. I don't care where we are. We are farmers dependent on the weather.
Hmm.
Whether we're growing, at least we have greenhouse and we can control that kind of climate thing. But once we open ourselves to the consumers, the clients coming into the garden centers, or the landscapers doing whatever, we are dependent on weather. That's we're just a bunch of farmers. So the weather here in our part of the country has been really quite good.
Okay.
We've had a lot of rain. There's no doubt about it, but we've had a long, cool spring and early summer. I know 21st is the first day of summer, but for us, summer can start a lot earlier, and for you as well.
Yeah.
So we've had a reasonably, what I think, a pretty darn good spring. The gardens have been growing, the plants have looked good, people are still excited about going out and buying plants, and so we have not had the heat. Well, we got it. We're going to get it this week,
Yeah.
but we have not had the heat. And while it's been cool and somewhat wet, that has not stopped consumers. So to answer your question, we just had our big Georgia show, our big Southeast show here just last week. And most everybody is very, very upbeat.
Good.
It's not like sales are going through the roof or anything, but they're hanging in there just fine, thank you.
Yeah.
Some people are saying it's a little bit less than last year. Others are saying, well, boy, the early spring was fantastic, but it's slowing down now. But what I'm hearing, at least here, is that it's been pretty good. Now it's going to shut down pretty darn soon. So in the Midwest and wherever, and Northwest and Northeast, hope you've got some spring turning into summer and people are excited.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think we're kind of hearing a lot of the same thing here. Started off as a pretty cool and wet spring for us. I remember it was Memorial Day weekend, sitting on my sister-in-law's deck, and I'm used to being out there in a t-shirt and shorts, and we're all bundled up in jeans and sweatshirts, and that was a little bit of an adjustment. But as you said, the heat's coming. We're forecast to be in the 90s into this weekend and going into next week. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Well, this is a warm country.
that's right.
It really is. Even I love it when the Europeans and the English and all the other people from other countries come over, and they see the size of this place and all that. But
Yeah.
boy, you're in the middle of the summer. It's hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So, and I know that we'll hear a lot more as we talk to folks when we get to Cultivate this year about how the season has gone and is going for a lot of folks. I want to get your take, because I know you've been going to Cultivate for many years. One of the main reasons is for Greenhouse Growers Evening of Excellence, which you've been a key part of for a long time. But there's more than just that event at the show. So I kind of wanted to ask you, as you come to Columbus for Cultivate every year, what do you look for? What kind of conversations do you try and have, and what are your expectations going into the event each year?
Well, you're right. I have been doing this for some time, and that's either going to make me just can't wait for the next one,
Yeah.
or perhaps my senses are dulled and I'm saying, do I have to go to another one? Well, I'm happy to say it's the former.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that not because I just am part of this industry for so long. I can't understand that if you can get to Cultivate financially, time-wise, even for a day, it's just going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whether how much you learn is totally up to you. But for me now, okay, so I'm an educator and I want to learn all the things that are going on.
Yeah.
I walk around and I learn. I learn things. People ask me what's going on, but I'm asking them a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Then I do so I have my learning hat on. Then I have my educator hat on and say, how can I help you? What can I do? And I talk about what I see out there, if anybody should ask me. I sometimes give a talk at Cultivate, but
Yeah.
often I'm just walking the floor like you are. And then sometimes I put my little consultant hat on, and perhaps who I'm working or talking with somebody, they're wanting me to help them out and see what's going on because they can't get around because they're sitting in a booth at the time.
Right.
So, I put on that and I look at new plants and let's face it, one of the things of Cultivate and many of these shows are the plants.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't reduce the importance of the automation we see, of the equipment we see, of the signage we see, of all those peripheral things. But let's face it, if there wasn't a plant to sell, we probably wouldn't be having half of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I put that hat on, and so I'm looking at new plants. And then I just put on my other hat, that is my friendship hat. I mean, if nothing else, you're going to see some of your old friends. And even if you don't see your old friends, you're going to meet new friends. So I don't want to get all on this, just I'm in love and all that stuff. It's Cultivate.
Yeah.
It's a show, but it's certainly one of our most important shows. And if I'm able to get there, and if I have something to add or something to learn, boy, I really have a very poor excuse not to go.
Oh,
so anyway, that's what I see. I put all these little hats on, and I know that all of you who are listening to this have at least one of those hats.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's an education hat, whether it's a good friendship hat, whether it's I want to learn something hat, or whether it's you want to share something hat. And of course, you can do business. Let's face it.
Yeah.
You can do business, and that's why these people are here, is to meet you and you to meet them. So let's face it, it is a industry show. And the industry show is to enhance the industry, which means you. And in fact, the more you know, the more you learn, the more you get excited, the more everybody benefits.
Well, and as you know, and as folks who have been to Cultivate for many years can attest to, that learning, those connections, those aren't necessarily isolated to you go into a classroom and you listen to an educational talk, you talk to somebody on the trade show floor. You could just sit down for a cup of coffee, somebody else sits down next to you, you introduce yourself. Next thing you know, you're talking about your common concerns, common challenges, and those conversations can lead to a lot of innovative ideas coming up. So, and I do know just for me going to Cultivate, when I look at the educational program, because there's so much to learn just in those meeting rooms. I look for
the educational component of Cultivate has always been strong.
Yeah.
And many shows reduce or even don't have an educational component, and it's a trade show. That's great. It's all well and good. But again, the people who speak there truly do know what they're talking about, and I can say that because they've even asked me once or twice. But the fact is, there's always something to learn. And exactly as you say, Brian, you never know who you're going to meet when you sit down there and you turn around to this person and say, what did he say?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you got a conversation. So I agree with you 100% on that as well.
Well, and speaking of conversations, I think I'm particularly drawn to the panel discussions because anytime I get a chance to see a diverse range of people on stage, and especially when you've got a topic where you can bring in, for growers, for example, a large grower, a medium-sized grower, and a smaller grower, looking at the same topic from different perspectives, having a conversation, sharing with ideas with each other. Maybe one grower is learning from another something that they hadn't thought about before. So those are the kind of things that I look for. Just in general, Cultivate's such an interesting show to attend. So, Allan, looking forward to reconnecting with you. I know the last time we talked in person was at California Spring Trials, but it'd be great to see you again. If anybody watching this, if you see Allan walking through the trade show floor, if you see myself or any other members of our Greenhouse Grower team, stop by, say hello, and let's talk. Let's exchange ideas.
Yeah, I think we've kind of, nobody has to believe us, but I think we've kind of said, yeah, probably a good idea to go to Cultivate. And if you want to find me, just look for the silly hat. That's all you have to do. And I'll be under it.
Of course. I love it. I love it. Well, Allan, good catching up today.
Okay, you bet. All the best.